Welcome to the College Football Halftime Show presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. I'm Aaron Sharoney here with Leroy Horde. Speaking of Mas, very happy to have you, sir. Plenty of action on tap today.
Yeah.
Starting with that crazy rain delay, which inspired a crazy start to that Georgia-South Carolina game, right?
5 minutes into the game, the score 7-7, and South Carolina, please, just get in somebody's way. Make them run more than 2 plays because they scored a touchdown and Todd Gurley hasn't touched the ball yet.
That's right. And by the way, the Dogs scored first and not the Bulldogs, the underdogs. So I don't know.
It's early.
Yeah, you think
Yes,
so? You think our prediction stands?
At some point, you have to stop somebody. And again, I believe Georgia will stop South Carolina before South Carolina will stop Georgia.
Yeah, and like you were saying when we were sitting here on the desk off the air, South Carolina really doesn't have a way out, right? I mean, you can't be bad on both angles.
You have to have something you can go to. Defensively, you're either good at stopping the run, good at stopping the pass. You can't be good at anything because you can't be good at neither because eventually you're going to have to pick one, and if you're wrong, they're going to keep having success against you.
Hope you guys followed all that logic from Leroy.
That's
here.
Leroy logic. It worked.
Leroy logic.
Yes.
I like it. I like the alliteration. East Carolina upset Virginia Tech 28-21. Not exactly a repeat of last year, but you brought up that last one too.
Yeah, they struggled against East Carolina last year. They squeaked one out 15-10 this time. East Carolina got the best of them. But go figure. They dominated Ohio State, Virginia Tech did. And then they come at home this week and lose to East Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't figure it.
All's fair in love and college football. That's what they say, something like that, right?
College football, that's why the rankings don't really mean anything until we get further along in the season.
Exactly. That's why the beginning is exciting. All right, Missouri stays unbeaten, downs UCF 38-10. Here's some interesting stats. QB Matty Mock, 144 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean,
we're sitting trying to figure out the numbers. How is this possible? There had to be a big play. I mean, either a lot of turnovers or something along those lines, or they ran the ball pretty good. But I can't figure out 100. He was 14 of 24, only 144 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Leroy, all I have to say is that you were the math major. I was not. So this is up to you.
I mean, I can't. You have 4 touchdowns and only 144 yards. That means your longest touchdown was 5.5 yards.
Exactly. I'm not sure how that works out.
Yeah, but look, Missouri, I mean, they took the SEC by storm last year. This year they're undefeated so far. Until you beat them, I'm going to say they're not.
All right. Virginia took down number 21 Louisville 23-21 in the ACC. What are your thoughts on that game? We were watching that in the green room earlier.
Perfect example of Louisville being ranked too high at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They beat Miami in prime time. Didn't really look that good. Miami just, probably had a bad game plan and didn't go into it like they should have. But as these weeks are adding up, you see Louisville probably shouldn't be as ranked as high as they are.
What was that song, True Colors? Who sang that?
Cyndi Lauper.
Was it Cyndi Lauper? Or
How about that?
Was it Belinda Carlisle? No, it was
Cyndi
Lauper.
Can I get some love?
All right, you know your 80s music.
Wait,
I'll give you
I
that.
grew up in the 9th Ward of New Orleans, and I just came up with Cyndi Lauper. Yes, come on.
Not bad. All right, I like it. Ohio State. Let's talk about Ohio State. Rebounds after their loss to Virginia Tech by shutting out Kent State 66-0.
Well, here's one of those opportunities where you have an opportunity for that offense to grow without their star. They scored 66 points, so everybody got an opportunity to get better. They'll get into the Big Ten and see if they have an opportunity to bounce back and probably build going into that Big Ten schedule.
Speaking of the Big Ten, regardless of what people may or may not think about it, who's the best in the Big Ten?
Michigan State, easily. Easily, what they do defensively, running the football and offensively, definitely puts them above anyone else because, with the offenses in the Big Ten, there's nobody that can beat that Michigan State defense. And until they show me that, Michigan State's going to be on top.
Even after that loss to Oregon?
That's Oregon. I mean, Oregon's done that to a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But I'm not losing faith in, how they play in the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State was the cream of the crop until they lost their starting quarterback. Now Michigan State, who beat Ohio State last year and won the Rose Bowl, I mean, they're still rolling. So I'm going to give them, the upper hand until I see somebody do better.
I'm impressed with you remaining objective despite your alma mater allegiance. But we'll talk about that another time because I know you and I agree. Remember, guys, download the CBS Sports app for instant scores, stats, and late-breaking news from all of today's games. Get it right now at cbssportsapp.com. Everybody, remember to stick around because Leroy and I will be right back after this commercial break with more good stuff. Presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. I'm Erin Sharoni, joined here by Leroy Horde. Before we get into it, Leroy, I want to remind everybody not to forget we've got SEC Live next week as Florida travels to number 3 Alabama. Live coverage begins at 3:25 right here on CBSSports.com. So make sure that you tune in, or Leroy will hunt you down. Right? You can do that.
I will walk.
That's right. He doesn't run anymore.
I don't run. I quit running when I quit getting a check.
We established that earlier.
Yes.
All right. Let's give everybody an update on that Georgia-South Carolina game. Right before we came back from break, it was 10-7 Georgia.
Yeah.
So you're feeling good about being right?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. South Carolina is holding their own. They're moving the ball. They can't stop Georgia, but they've been able to have some production offensively. And so if they can outscore them, then it doesn't really matter. But eventually somebody's going to have to stop the other team in order to win a football game.
Right. Is that how it works?
Kind of. But the games that we've watched today, 38-42, 42. I mean, it's really tough.
Yeah, that's true.
Teams just been scoring all over the place.
You know what, though? As viewers, keeps it exciting. Unless you're attached to one particular team, or like you, attached to an outcome because you just want to be right. Yes. Which is what you admitted to me in our break.
You know what? The games, the marquee probably wasn't that great, but there has been some pretty exciting football today so far. So
yeah, absolutely.
There's been high scoring, low scoring, a lot of good football games today.
And more good stuff to come. We've got a few big games later, including UCLA, Texas, and Tennessee at Oklahoma. Our Inside College Football crew actually has a look at the Tennessee-Oklahoma game. So let's take a look at that. We've got a video right here.
Hello, Adam Zucker here with Spencer Tillman and Brian Jones from our College Football Today studios. Our CBSSports.com spotlight tonight shines on a Big 12 versus SEC matchup under the lights in Norman. Number 4 Oklahoma hosting Tennessee. The Sooners outscored La Tech and Tulsa by a combined 100-23 in their 2 wins so far. Meanwhile, Butch Jones has his Vols off to a 2-0 start. Justin Worley at quarterback completing 65% of his passes so far, BJ, but big test tonight.
Oh, a huge test. And the last time the Vols knocked off a top 10 team, 2006, the last time they started 3-0 was 2004, but they got their work cut out for it. Starts with the quarterback, Justin Worley, who you just mentioned, Adam. Hey, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. This young man needs to stay upright. He's got a young, inexperienced offensive line that's trying to protect him. The key is going to be for him to stay upright in that running game. They've got to generate something there. You've got the freshman, Jalen Hurd, who's leading the pack. Marlon Lane, also the senior citizen in that stable of running backs. The key is for a running game and a quarterback who can make sure he puts the ball in the hands of the right color jersey.
Well, I don't think as far as Oklahoma is concerned, there's no question why they're being highly successful right now. Trevor Knight is the poster child this year for the success of a quarterback and its importance to a team. He has been absolutely lights out. They moved Sterling Sharp from that inside slot position to the outside X position. He has been tremendously explosive. When you start looking at big-time plays, 10 of 18 for plays 15 yards or more, he's been quite impressive. So to the degree that the quarterback stays upright and continues to succeed, Mike Stoops' defense playing lights out, holding teams to minus 21 yards through the first 2 games. Oklahoma's a tough team to beat right now.
Yeah, Trevor Knight trying to pick up where he left off with that Sugar Bowl. This is big for the bragging rights. All that talk Bob Stoops has done in the offseason.
Oh, well, he talked the talk and he walked the walk a year ago in that Sugar Bowl versus Alabama, so he just wants to expand on that work right there.
3-1 against the SEC, so he's got the upper hand.
A little quieter this week, though. Remember, we will be with you Saturday afternoons throughout the season here on College Football Today.
All right, good stuff from our college football crew there, but I want to know what you think because you're sitting here with me.
I'm pleasantly surprised at how Oklahoma has started the season. They look dominant. Some wondered whether they were just getting that spot, one of those teams that were overranked. but watching them play the last couple of weeks, they do look dominant. Tennessee is kind of trying to repair their program. You know, new coach, new system. You know, the players are just starting to, you know, buy into it. So I think Oklahoma is probably going to win this game by a large number, only because of where these two universities are and the last couple of years and where they're going is just in two different spots. Speaking
of winning by a large number, let's kind of get on to a really big blow. Oregon, Wyoming ended up 48-14. Mariota, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, did we expect this?
Yes. Oregon scores against anybody. And that's just what they do. That's what they've done probably now for the last 5 or 6 years. The thing is that when you look at Mariota, he is going to be the Heisman Trophy front runner because he touches the ball more.
Right.
Not because he's the best player, because I think Todd Gurley is probably the best athlete in the game right now in college football. But he doesn't touch the ball as much as Mariota. He doesn't handle the ball. He doesn't throw passes. If you throw passes in college football, you're a front runner to win the Heisman.
It's interesting how it comes down to that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the better all-around athlete.
Right.
Speaking of better, who's the best team in the country right now? Oregon or Florida State? And don't let the uniforms factor into this.
Oregon has the better win to this point. So I would say Oregon over Florida State. But I'm one of those people that if you win a national championship until somebody knocks you off, you're the best team.
All right, speaking of best, we've got our Taco Bell MVP of the week, and that would be Bryce Petty, throwing for over 400 yards and 4 TDs. Not too shabby, right? I think he deserves Taco Bell MVP.
Baylor is another one of those schools that has produced an offensive system that's had a lot of talent come out of it. Bryce Petty is just, you know, another player that's being able to do well in that system.
All right, well, lots of good stuff. As always, sir, it's been real, Leroy.
Yes, it has.
That'll do it for us, folks. Remember to keep it right here on CBSSports.com. For all the best college football coverage, I'm Erin Shironi with Leroy Horde. Catch you next time.